only are we tracking air quality concerns, but also we've been seeing some smoke moving in from fires in Utah. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that more in a bit coming up. But first, let's talk about this afternoon because it is hot. It is hazy. Actual air temperature right now sitting in the upper 80s, 88 degrees here in Houston, 86 down in Galveston. Temperatures actually about 1 to 2 degrees cooler right now compared to this time yesterday. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't feel significantly better. Most of us feeling like the mid to upper 90s, but currently, no triple-digit heat index values. You'll notice right now it feels like 99 in Katy, 96 out in Tomball as we head through the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Make sure you slather on the sunscreen. Today we've got extreme UV index numbers. You'll notice temperatures climbing into the mid-90s as we head into the afternoon. Factor in that humidity. It's going to feel anywhere between 5 to 10 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. Now, as we look ahead to the weekend, you're going to continue to see partly cloudy skies every single day, muggy and buggy mornings in the 80s, and then into the afternoon, mid-90s. That summer sizzle certainly here to stay, but we will have some changes as we get into next week. We're tracking Saharan dust that's been moving thousands of miles across the Atlantic. Brittany, I'll have much more in my full forecast coming up.
A lot to talk about.
Shift its way over Texas. This brings with it intense heat, but it also prevents us from seeing rainfall. In fact, storms really ride around that high pressure system, which is why, and I find this pretty cool, the rainfall forecast over the next 5 days, you can see where the storms, they go around the high pressure system. And that's why we basically have a bubble over Texas. No rainfall expected over the next 5 days because of that high pressure system. Not only will storms ride around the high pressure system ridge, but also smoke will as well. I mentioned those wildfires out in Utah. This is rotating around the high, and this is what's going to bring smoke through the day today. That's why it looks a little bit hazy out there, but you'll notice as we go into Friday, that smoke will start to push out. Conditions should start to get slightly more clear. But that's why when you look outside today and look up, the sky is not going to look quite as blue as it typically would. In fact, it's more of a hazy, milky white. That's because of wildfire smoke today. Thankfully, our air quality is still going to be in the moderate to healthy category. But I do want to say we're going to keep seeing hazy skies. But as we head into next week, it's not going to be smoke. It's going to be dust. That's right. Saharan dust. We track it every single summer. It gets kicked up during the West African monsoon. Then the trade winds travel it all the way across the Atlantic. This will push its way into the Gulf as we head into Sunday, impacting Houston Monday and Tuesday of next week. That will once again bring pretty milky skies and reduce our air quality, something to pay attention to. In fact, our changes can be incredibly subtle day to day. You can see a mix of sunshine and cloud cover, a bit hazy out there today. And it's not just hazy, it's hazy, hot, and humid. Actual air temperature right now sitting at 93 degrees here in Houston, 92 in Tomball. Factor in the humidity, and it's feeling close to 100 degrees. Right now, 104 in Hobby, 102 for our friends in Angleton. So a hot, humid start to what's going to be a very warm, muggy, and buggy afternoon and evening. Car wash forecast tonight, not a bad night to do it as we're not tracking any rain over the next week. We've got temperatures slow to cool down by 9 o'clock, 84 degrees under mostly clear skies. Now, as we look ahead to the weekend, we've got 3 back-to-back scorchers. Friday, scorching Saturday, and a sizzler of a Sunday. Joel, we are tracking some subtle changes for next week, but I'll break down that full forecast coming up. And there's no droughts. Please still use caution. Just because there's no burn bans and our soil is saturated doesn't mean you can't start a fire. You always want to make sure you have a bucket of water when you're operating any sort of fireworks or even just simple sparklers. Okay, let's talk about our forecast, because if this high pressure system had set up sooner in the summer, we would not be drought free. This high pressure has been building across the desert Southwest. As this makes its way to the east, it's really setting up over southeast Texas. Now, this is bringing with it a ridge of high pressure or a heat dome, meaning any thunderstorms that form they're going to ride around the high pressure. In fact, you can see it rainfall forecast over the next week. Look at that. It's like a massive rain bubble. We're not expecting any rainfall over the next 5 days because of that high pressure, but it's not just the rain that rotates around the high. It's also smoke. We've been tracking wildfire smoke from big fires out in Utah, and that's been rotating around the high and making it to us here in southeast Texas. That's why if you look up today, the sky doesn't look quite as blue. It's a bit hazy. It's a bit milky. That's a combination of wildfire smoke and a little bit of Saharan dust. You can see the smoke is going to start to clear out as we head into this evening, which means into the day tomorrow. Skies should start to look much more blue, but don't get too used to it because next week the Saharan dust moves in. Dust reaches Houston on Monday and Tuesday. That means if you suffer from respiratory problems such as asthma, I would limit your outdoor exposure Monday and Tuesday. Plan to exercise indoors. Likely we're going to have hazy skies and poor air quality. Otherwise, splash pad, then it can be kind of enjoyable. Otherwise, if you're forced to work outside, it is hot and it is not comfortable. A live look from our GenPro.com camera, and you can see a mix of sunshine and cloud cover. Our temperatures right now are going to be sitting in the lower 90s, 93 here in Houston, 90 degrees out in Fort Bend County. Factor in the humidity. Everyone feeling closer to 100 degrees. Right now, Tomball, that's the hot spot, feeling like 103, 97 in Liberty. So no matter where you are, you're dealing with that high heat. Car wash forecast, not a bad night to do it because we've got no rain through the weekend. Temperatures tonight certainly going to be warm, only dropping into the mid 80s by 9 o'clock. It's muggy, it's buggy. Certainly make sure you wear that bug spray if you are out and about in the evening time. Otherwise, we are set up for an exceptionally hot weekend. Temperatures warming up into the mid 90s every single day, a rinse and repeat of the day before. But as we head into next week, we are tracking some changes in the sense of Saharan dust and eventually some rain chances. But Lisa, Joel, I've got much more in my full forecast coming up.
Well, we'll see you then.
On fire, which is why if you're using fireworks or even just sparklers, at least have a bucket of water nearby. Be smart. Do it in an open area. Don't do it around homes. And of course, always follow local laws. As for our temperatures, well, they are hot. If this high pressure system had set up earlier in the summertime, then we certainly would not be in the drought-free situation. This high pressure system keeping us hot and keeping us dry. You can see air rotates around it, and this really steers storms away from us. In fact, if you look at our rainfall forecast over the next 5 days, you can see really that dome of dryness over Texas. We are not expecting any rainfall because of that high pressure system. Not only does it make storms rotate around us, but it's also been bringing wildfire smoke in. You can see we've got big fires in Utah. That's bringing smoke into the Houston area. And that's why hot skies were a bit hazy today. As we head into this evening, a lot of that smoke should start to clear out, which means you would hope skies will get a little bit more blue, but alas, Texas into Monday, which means for those who suffer from respiratory problems such as asthma, next Monday and Tuesday, those are days that I would flag. Try to stay indoors. We're likely going to have poor air quality, at least going to be impacted. Even today, it's a little bit hazy. We have a thin layer of Saharan dust, but if you look outside, white color, not quite as blue as we would typically expect to see. And this is actually from that wildfire smoke we've been tracking from Utah, but also some burns in Central America and Mexico. That smoke is with us right now, but as we head through the overnight hours, you'll start to see that tapering off first here in Houston, and then eventually our friends by the coast should start to see some relief. When it comes to that smoke, we've been watching our air quality exceptionally close through the day today. So far, things have been okay. In fact, you'll notice moderate air quality out there. This is considered safe. It's likely not going to be until next Monday that we'll start to see air quality heavily reduced because of that Saharan dust. But from now through the weekend, air quality should be okay. Otherwise, temperatures certainly are on the toasty side. Actual air temperatures lower to mid 90s. Heat index values right around 100. Lisa, Joel, it's mid-June after all.
It is. All right, right on time, I guess, huh? Thank you.
Our forecast, meaning it's hot, it is dry. This high pressure system, it creates sinking air. When you compress the air like that, it heats us up. Think about it like a bike tire. Compression heats us up, but also when you have sinking air, that prevents us from seeing a whole lot of cloud cover. You're going to notice slightly sunnier conditions. Any sort of rain that forms, it's going to move around the high pressure. It really rides the ridge is what we say. And you can see that on our rainfall forecast over the next 5 days. All rain that forms, it moves around the high. This is why we basically have a rain-free bubble over the Texas Triangle. Not only is it moving the rain around us, but it's also pushing in some smoke from those wildfires in the southwest. Now, here in Houston, we had that haze with us today. That's pushing out this evening, meaning tomorrow is going to be less hazy, but don't get used to it because we are tracking a big plume of Saharan dust. Now, I do want to say the dust, it does a tremendous amount of good. It helps support our marine ecosystem. It leads to very vibrant sunrises and sunsets. It also suppresses tropical development. We're not expecting any tropical storms or hurricanes. And a big reason why is the dust. I like to think of the dust like a cedar wood chip. If you throw it on the ground, it absorbs all of the moisture. The dust does the same thing in our atmosphere. It takes out the tropical moisture. That gets rid of really most potential for thunderstorms, tropical storms, and hurricanes. Here's the problem though. As we get into Monday, you will see that dust move into Houston. This is likely going to be reducing our air quality, hazy, milky skies. That means both on Monday and on Tuesday. If you suffer from respiratory problems such as asthma, if you're a member of one of our more sensitive groups, try to limit your time outside on Monday and Tuesday. Certainly exercise indoors. That dust can make things a bit on the hazardous side.